I love this movie so much. I'd say it's definitely my favorite in the franchise outside of the core trilogy. So with the physical release coming up, what are you excited and hoping that fans get out of the second and third watches of The Nun II?
Well, first of all, thank you. Great to see you. I think for fans, I'm excited for them to just pick up on Easter eggs. There's so much stuff that we have in here, which kind of connects to other movies, connects to the larger story. We have some really cool behind the scenes stuff, and then also a couple of deleted scenes that weren't able to make it into the final cut. But there's a lot of stuff in there. I think I'm excited for people to see it.
Awesome. I'm very excited to hear that we'll be seeing deleted scenes. Can't wait. Speaking of, as you mentioned, you really started to sort of stitch together the universe in a way that hadn't really been done so far yet in the franchise. And I really enjoyed that revelation of how Irene and Lorraine are connected. And can you talk about what went into creating that big, like, final climactic sequence of that revelation and connecting those threads?
Yeah, I think it's something that, fans are already kind of had theories about it. It just seemed a little bit too perfect that, two sisters were cast in the same series, and we needed a connection, and there was, I think, in the original draft that I got from Akela, it was in there. It was always in there, but it was more as an Easter egg, and I just thought that this is probably. It needs to be bigger. I think that because there was already an Easter egg in the first Nun that connects her to Lorraine on her passport. If you look at her passport, I think it's in Bridgeport is like her. I won't get into that, but I was like, this needs to we need to really deliver fans like a really clear announcement. And then I also just thought I really think that it needs to land with some emotion. I thought that, and then that's where I started developing the mother story, and these movies always have the first Conjuring has the family theme. That's like the theme of the family, and it's like once everybody's been saved, and I think it really speaks to just the Warrens. I think it speaks to just all these movies in different ways deal with family is in different forms. And so I just thought that, Irene's connection to her mother, it was kind of like a throwaway line in the first Nun movie about how her, basically something to the effect of her dad thought her mom was crazy. And I just thought that there's something there. I think we got to pull on that thread. We got to pull on the Lorraine thread, and we got to tie all that up. And I think that it really, I think it connected to people. I think that, just that idea of connection to family was really worked.
I think you absolutely did such a great job with that. I was going to ask about how you go about making sure that you balance that emotional core with the right amount of scares and terror in a movie like this when you're working with the script writers and bringing it all together.
Yeah, I think it always starts with a script, and you're always trying to figure it out there. It's an endless process. Everybody's so essential. Probably the most, everyone plays an essential part. I think I was really graced with some amazing actors. I think Taissa does some of her best work in this movie, and I'm so proud of it. And it's not honestly anything I did. I just kind of I think she is in this kind of gotten better, and with each movie that she's done. She's still so young, and so just becoming the amazing actor that she's going to become. But I just really gave her the room to work with it and to dig into it, and I'm so proud of her. I feel like a good coach on the sides, I'm just they're clapping her on and just supporting her. But I think that's really what we feel these emotions, and we really feel the story through the actors, and just I think that was one of the biggest keys of making it work.
I completely agree. Taissa does such a phenomenal job in this movie. As a huge fan of this franchise, and your previous work in this franchise, I know that you pulled off that awesome credit scene with some footage from The Conjuring 3. Can you share anything about going into the credit scene and what you want fans to take away from it, and tease anything about the possible future?
First of all, what's so funny is up until this junket, I thought I had fooled everyone. I thought that that was it was footage from Conjuring 3, and I had cut it out I think we had shown it to one test audience, and beyond that, no one had seen it. The only thing, and I realized that what gave me away is it was used, like one line from Patrick was used in like an HBO Max promo. And that's how I was found out. But I thought I was so smart, and I thought I fooled everyone. I was like, no one's going to know what this is from. This is going to be great. So yes, it was from the third Conjuring. And the reason I put it in there, honestly, was because audiences at the end of the movie, I think it was a little bit too subtle in terms of how does this connect to the rest of the chronology. And so that was something that, as we tested it, people kept on saying, is he still possessed? Does he get exorcised by the Warrens? Does it, like, I kept on seeing it, and I was like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh my God, this footage, I'm just going to put that in there. It's like a mid-credit. And then the studio saw it, and then they were like, oh, this is awesome. This is because they forgot we even had it. And so I thought that was such a win. I thought I pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. Internet found me out.
You introduced a new cool, like Black Phillip style sort of extension of Valak with that new monster. Can you talk a little bit about creating that creature and sort of evolving what Valak can do in this universe?
Yeah, honestly, I love the Black Phillip. It's a crossover. Guys, you found it out. We're breaking it here. It's a witch crossover with the Conjuring universe. No, that's a joke. That monster was already in Akela's first draft. I loved the idea of a goat demon. I was like, oh man, how do we make this look right? Because we hadn't seen any like real monster. It's usually much more implied in the Conjuring movies, but I wanted to see more of him. I think that was something where I was, I knew Corn drew a lot of inspiration from Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I thought, I love that movie. I'd really connected with Corn on, as we talked about that. And so I went back, and I loved in Bram Stoker's Dracula, I don't know if you remember or if you've seen it, the bat creature. The bat creature that like comes out of the closet is so awesome. Effects. And I was like, oh my God, I got to do that. I got to put that type of monster in the movie. And so that was like the main inspiration. And then we just kind of went from there. And I think it really worked. I think that was something that I think people really, it was also very surprising. I think that, we hadn't seen like such like a monster in that fashion that was very physical and tactile. It's usually was more, they tend to be more demons. And I think that that's kind of what took people by surprise.
In your opinion, what are the absolute essentials of a good scare?
It's so many different things. I'm still figuring it out. I don't know. I think it's, everyone's ready to go on that ride. I think that, and I speaking just as an audience member going to scary movies, I think you're ready. It's like being on the roller coaster. You're ready for it to like the carts to start like click clacking up that hill. And I think that is that process of just like kind of getting drawn up and being latched in. Like, I think that is, it's a rhythm thing. You're kind of drawn into like we're going on the ride again, and being able to announce those moments in ways that are not too over the top, but still, draw you in. I think that's essential. And just, playing it like a roller coaster, and they, I think also great roller coasters, it's the dynamics, it's not like a bunch of the same drops. It's like, it's not just a bunch of corkscrews. It's like, it's a combination of things and just putting people off guard. And I think that's part of the magic of it.
Absolutely. I love that anticipation. So I've really enjoyed watching your direction like evolve over these like past few like spooky movies, and you're carving out a really good space for yourself in horror. Do you have any new like horror projects coming up that you can tease, or any particular horror IP that you would love to bring to the screen, or hopes to come back to the Conjuring universe?
I have a lot of stuff. I don't know if I can talk about anything at this point. I mean, I love the genre. And I also think that it's funny. There was a period of time where people would always ask like, oh, well, when are you going to get out of horror? Or when are you going to, as if it's something to leave, or there's something that's like, there's another tier of movie making. I'm like, horror is like having such a moment now. It is so resilient, I mean, audiences love it. Theaters love it. I mean, it's bringing people back to theaters. It's, post-COVID. I mean, this is like bringing people and like creating the habit of going to the movies. I mean, I'm so grateful to be working in this genre and just making movies and making theatrical. And I feel very lucky.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me today. I can't wait till everyone gets to see the Nun II in 4K.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much.